Yes, people, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. As always, people, make sure that you lot are smashing up the lights. Make sure that you are subscribing to the channel. Big up the man, them people. You know what I mean? Episode 36, Blue Diaries. Oh, as even brought at the top today.
Bomber clocks. I don't think I've ever seen this guy repping like that, man.
Well, he went full kit. With the shorts on too, huh?
That's if we accomplish something in it, then maybe.
All right, but listen, people, man, make sure that you lot are smashing up the lights, like I'm saying. We've got Nehemiah in here already. Big up yourself, bro. Let me bring up this comment here. You got Rich Barber as well. Says, big up, Don. I'm still singing Tyreek. Yeah, Tyreek George. Hey, listen, that song was going off. That was the first time I've heard that song, so I didn't even know the lyrics. I just kept saying Tyreek George. You know what I mean? But big up, man. Big up, man. What you lot saying anyway, first of all, man? You lot good? You feeling good today, yeah?
Yeah, man. Great weekend, man.
A little better.
Can't lie, I feel good. I feel good about it. Obviously, we'll get into the particulars of it, but we don't have moments like that very often, so it was a good feeling. So.
Exactly that.
100%, bro. And for me, that was limbs. Obviously, you lot know I was at the Spurs game as well when we beat them, right? But yesterday it was different vibes for me because when we was 1-0 down, I'm watching the time. I was saying to Alex next to me, I'm thinking, bro, we have to score our first goal before half time because I just don't see these guys' mentality today. Like Jackson's just not being good in the box. The movement's been crap. Like I'm seeing us crossing to nobody really because no one's in the box again. But second half, the way we came out, the intensity was so different, bro. Right? He brings on Sancho. He brings on Gusto as well. I thought they played very well. Sancho right now is fighting for his life to stay in London, bro. He's been brilliant. You know, some of the touches, some of the way he was bringing people into play, stopping, starting the game, controlling, dictating the game. It was mad, right? And then obviously you've got George that came on off the bench top. Like I've been fucking screaming for man to play, right? Me and Jimmy were going back and forth in the group chat about this. And funny enough, Evil Saka, bro, Jimmy yesterday texted me in the group saying, yo, drop Jackson right now and play George up top if you need to, blood. Yeah? And this was a guy that was fighting against it. I'm going to talk about that in more detail because I thought he had another good game yesterday. That's 2 games now where he started up top. Played up top and he scored. You know what I mean? And then the second goal, Neto, bro. Enzo Fernandez, another assist, but the banger, yeah? Man just put his foot through that, bro. Brilliant goal. Brilliant goal. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like I said, it was mad, bro. It was mad. Honestly, being in that away end for that second goal, that feeling, I can't describe it. I can't describe it, man. But what was it like from home anyway, Couch? What did you think of the game, first of all, man?
I didn't like the game, but I definitely liked the outcome. I thought that I was sitting here with my son. We're watching. We're 1-1 late. We're just going on his Easter egg hunt, and then freaking Neto. He has risen. Neto just bangs one, and me and my son were just like, out of nowhere, man. You know, like. Because I didn't think that we did enough to really get all 3 points. But when you have quality like that on the pitch, you know, it comes to the fore. So he has risen, man. Neto, bebe. What you guys say, Ads? What you guys say about that?
Hey, tune in, bro. Tune in. It's a long show. We'll talk.
Nah, facts, man, facts. But yeah, how are you feeling, AJ, in the first half, bro? Because you know, Maresca obviously being at the game, bro. This guy got booed. They were shouting wanker. You know what I mean? Did you feel that we were having a poor game, or was it more just one of them ones where it was like, it's gonna come? Because I was seeing us creating some decent chances. You know what I mean in that first half.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm more similar to Couch. It felt pretty much familiar, you know, with what we've been watching for the past like 6 months. You know, we don't have really a problem of creating, you know, semi-decent chances. It's really scoring the goals. So when I see the chances being created, but we're not scoring, it just looks like the same shit to me. That's really what it looks like. But so it kind of felt like that. I was kind of also in and out of sleep, you know, watching the game. So it wasn't something that kept me like engaged. But you know, like Couch said, the outcome is just what we needed, you know, and we haven't had those moments in a long time, bro. Like
100%.
the impact of scoring game winners, like on the fans and just on the team itself, you know, it's second to none. You know, it's the energy that you get and the confidence and the momentum that you get going forward is just unreal, you know. And then it was like 2 real Chelsea type goals, you know, them Drogba, Lampard, Ballack type goals, you know, where it's like big moments, you know, and it's smacking the net. It's not no baby goals and shit like that. Some real big boy goals, you know. So we miss that, you know. We don't see our players striking the ball, you know, and, hitting the target and hitting the back of the net. So it was great, you know, the way it finished.
Yep.
But I'm not gonna lie and say it was a good game.
And you know what the funny thing is, about this game, right? Is last week we had so many chances, but we weren't clinical, right? In this game, we didn't have the most clear-cut chances, but we were very clinical, ads. You know what I mean? That's the difference for me in this game, bro. You fucking, like I put in the title, slap the ball without hesitating, and it will go in. Because we've had many conversations on Blue Diaries where I'm showing you lot the screenshots, and I'm showing you in this moment, take the shot there, but we dilly-dally. We touch. You know what I mean? If Jackson was on the bench on the pitch yesterday and he had the opportunity that George had, I promise you, bro, he would have dilly-dallied on the ball, right? Or he would have shot, he would have gone far, or would have gone straight into the keeper's hands, right? That's the difference. We were critical yesterday. That was the major difference, ads.
The difference was just quality. It just happened to show itself in those moments, but it didn't really change the fact that it was a poor performance. Because again, I watched it back, so my experience was a bit different to everybody else. Because obviously I was at church at the time, so I'm still seeing the live feed. I'm obviously getting messages through the days in different group chats and DMs, and people are obviously, laughing if they're ops or if it's, Chelsea fans. We're all just like the same old nonsense that we've been seeing all season. So I didn't even look at my phone the last 25 minutes because I was like, oh, I know how this ends. Like legit, I know how this ends in it. And it wasn't until like half an hour after the game finished that I checked my phone. At first I thought, let me just check the score to see what happened. And when you go to the screen and it's like lagging on the old score, and then I refresh it. And I just see 2-1. The way I jumped, I was like, what? I was just so just surprised, so late. I was like, rah, bro. And obviously now I have to go back and watch it. And I can see why everybody was just so there was just like a release of emotion when it happened, because it was kind of the same old shit, to be honest. The game was kind of mid. We were better second half. I only watched parts of the first half. The second half, it was we were slightly better, but it was the same old stuff reaching the final third. I mean, Jackson just embarrassing once again. Sancho, decent, some really good first touches, decent little dribbles, but he's never going to really create that kind of separation to really go past the guy and be in space to then do something mad. And when he did get off shots, he was okay.
He had Tete running backwards, because he was running at him. I'm telling you, bro, he was running at this guy, bro. I've seen Sancho many times in person, and yesterday was a game where he was looking ferocious. You know what I mean?
To a degree, but it's again, I like Sancho, and he has been better in recent weeks, which is good. He needs to do more of this, but it's I don't see that the X factor, you're gonna get past the man with crazy separation and then do something mad. It's he'll shuffle, make half a yard of space, but then it's okay, then you make a decent inside pass, which is fine. But if you're making a pass into Jackson who's in dead form, nothing's gonna come from it. If you're gonna pass it into Palmer, right now, nothing's gonna come from it. So he was doing all right. He was doing his job. It's just he didn't feel like there was gonna be some end product. Same with Neto. I heard of some good crosses that he did in the first half. Second half, at times a bit of a threat, cutting back and then whipping in crosses, but nothing really too great. He did have our big chance early on in that half, and it was just same old nonsense. He hit it, but it was scuffed. Horrible effort. And it's we're going to see the same old nonsense because, again, the midfield was on job. The defense, was fine. We didn't have too much defending to do, but those moments of quality, that's what separates. That's
what I'm saying. Let's give credit to defense. We did have defending to do, bro, right? Fulham were trying to put some crosses into the box, and Sanchez, Couch's boy, big up Couch here. Sanchez was collecting the ball, right? Our centre backs, Colwell and Chalobah, they were heading things out. They were doing their job, because the moment that Colwell decides to just fall asleep and then there's someone behind him.
I'm still there,
yeah. Say that again, bro.
No, I'm still there.
You're still there. Okay, you're still there. Yeah. There was even a moment in I think it was the first half where the ball must have come over to Cucurella and he had to get there and he just headed it off the pitch. I don't know if you guys remember that moment where he had to quickly get his head on that, bro. Right? So you have to give these guys credit, because it was just the other day when you had Real Madrid playing Arsenal and they literally played into Arsenal's hands where they just kept whipping it in. But Saliba and Kivior still had to do their job. They still had to defend the box. And that's what we did yesterday. We defended the box very well. Very well.
Honestly, looking back at the game, obviously I only watched the second half, so I don't know why people were cooking Cole, because maybe he did some mad stuff first half. But second half, other than that one really bad pass, he was good. Again, we was quite fine defensively. Again, they didn't put us under too much pressure, but our rest defense was good. Caicedo was making some ridiculous tackles as per usual, so we were fine. It was just, again, for me, are we going to do anything final third? And we didn't until Tyreek George came on. And listen, I've heard a lot about his shooting tech in the academy. From what I've seen of him in the Conference League, I thought, okay, he's decent, but nothing special. But listen, if you can score goals like that, again, goals change games. They change seasons even. And that is a big moment. That's the biggest moment of the domestic season so far. So that was a big moment. Neto, fair play. Again, if you're going to play mid but come up with moments of magic like that, that's completely fine. Because I've seen plenty. Again, Rashford was not great even when he was scoring 30 goals. He wasn't like having like masterclasses over 90 minutes. But he was having moments that were deciding games for Man United. And if Neto or Nani or whoever can do that, even though they have a lot of mid performances over 90 minutes, that's fine. My issue is none of these guys will go into even threaten to have a moment of quality. So it was a big moment. I'm hoping that that's going to be some sort of impetus for better form going into these next few games. Because again, the games aren't getting any easier. They're really not. But that was a big moment, man. And we can't. Again, it's got me in colours. It's got man in colours, bro. Because that was a massive moment that we just don't see too often.
Yeah, we just don't get moments. That's just it. We just don't get moments. That's the one thing that I think that's been the problem with this team the last couple of years. They haven't given the supporters a moment where we can say we can hang our hat on and say that this is our team finally, man. Like I just don't feel as familiar with these guys as I have in the past. You know, and it takes moments to deliver that, man. And we just haven't had enough of it.
But literally to that point, right? I think in terms of late winners this season, it's this one, maybe Bournemouth away when Nkunku scored. We haven't had too many like late big moments, right? And in terms of big games, and I've been saying this every single time, every other like episode I've said this seriously to you guys, that in terms of big games, other than Tottenham, which we always beat, we don't beat big teams. Again, we're not beating big teams in Europe because we're not in Europe right now. And domestically, when is the last time we beat Arsenal, City, Liverpool? We only have like one win against United in like 5 years. Like it's horrible. So again, moments like this, they're needed, bro. They're needed. It's what football's all about at the end of the day, man.
100%. And Andrew, listen, a lot of people on Maresca's back right now, like even obviously being there yesterday, like those people around me after the fucking the chance that Reece, you know, the individual mistake that he made. As soon as he made that mistake, they didn't even say anything to Reece. I heard people saying it's fucking Maresca. And I'm like, brother, what's Maresca got to do with a man that's literally under no pressure in all this space, right? He wasn't even really inverting at that point. He was running into a space that you would go into if you're playing at right back anyway, and just dilly-dallying on the ball, yeah? I said in my fan cam, he was lagging, bro. If you play FIFA, you know about it when you're lagging, yeah? The connection is shit. He was lagging because I was literally watching this guy, bro. I was watching him and I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Like, are you not gonna give the ball? Okay, now it's getting a bit worrying. Why have you not passed the ball yet? And then I'm just seeing him getting pickpocketed, and I'm like, what's going on here? Before you know it, it's Iwobi. Yeah, I even tweeted the day before the game that Iwobi would bag. You know what I mean? And once again, that's another individual mistake, Andrew. Yeah. What do you think about? What did you think about again that mistake there, bro? Because that's pathetic, and the way people just like to just push it onto Maresca every time, regardless of what happens, it's pathetic, bro. It's pathetic.
I thought Reece. I thought it was totally down to Reece. I know people might say it's a foul or anything, but he got easily put off the ball. I will say, going back, I was looking at the response after the game from Chelsea people online, you know, to see what the reaction would be, because usually when we lose, it's like, especially with the reverse fixture, it was Silva outcoached Maresca and his subs made an impact and stuff like that. And parts of it, yes, they were, Maresca got lucky and something like that. And if Nkunku was there, George wouldn't come on. And it was like, well, Nkunku's not there because he's injured or suspended. It was technical reasons, which means Maresca didn't want to pick him. Okay? You got to credit Maresca there. Maresca outcoached Silva the entire second half because he brought Sancho on and he made a Cucurella overlap, which made a big difference as well. He moved Neto to the right. He was better on the right than the left yesterday. And he put George on. So credit should go to Maresca for his changes that he made at halftime. He took Reece off as well, remember, at halftime, and put Gusto on. So credit, we as a community, and I think we're right to, we're quick to criticise when the result doesn't go well. And we blame Maresca and the players for doing this and that. But they should, as quickly as the criticism is, the praise should be there as well. And people go, but it's only Fulham or something like that. Well, you know, people didn't think we were going to win at the weekend. You know, if you'd asked the last two fixtures, people would expect us to beat Ipswich and draw at Fulham, possibly. Do you know what I mean? Not the other way around. And I was just thinking, it's like, I know people have already made up their mind about Maresca, so they're not going to give him. They want him out, so they're not going to give him much credit at all. it'll be, oh yeah, you got lucky and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Screw it, man. Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna praise him. I've criticized him a lot this season. I'm gonna praise him that he did something that he hadn't. He did something a bit more that last couple of games, even though we drew against Ipswich, that he started to do in most of the first half of the season. That he reacted quickly, whether it took at halftime or not. He still reacted and made changes. We're probably going to talk about Jackson needs to be dropped for George. My thing is this: whether he drops Jackson for George or not, George still needs to be involved, whether that's from the bench or starting. It doesn't matter. He just needs to be involved. So, but yeah, good on him. Big win. Push on, and we just need to. Yeah, we're hoping for Spurs to do something tonight against Forest. See what the City Villa game pops up in midweek, and then we need to do our job at home to Everton on Saturday lunchtime to put pressure and rest. But fantastic end to the game. I agree. The first half was much like the same for the last few months. A bit annoying. Second half was better. Created the chances, but we just shot right at the goalkeeper. That was the thing. And I could just say the reason we need a striker is because of the crosses of Neto in that second half. Because you can't teach and coach anticipation as a striker. If you're a number 9, you have the anticipation to move towards the ball, and Jackson doesn't have that. So
he doesn't have it, bro.
Just one of the reasons why we needed like an actual number 9.
Bro, I don't even know if this video is going to get stricken down, because I want to show you the clips that I saw on Twitter of this guy's movement, I don't even know if this is going to get taken down, but let me know if I risk it. But there was 3 opportunities there, all from crosses, bro, right? Reese on the right in the first half, he plays it to Jackson. This guy is nowhere to be seen. Because I was even watching him and I'm like, that's fucking pathetic, Jackson, right? There's a chance that Neto whipped in from the left. This guy should have been in the zone, AJ. You know what I mean? He should have been in the zone. He was nowhere near it. Because top strikers are going to be there with their knee, with their shin, with their toe. Anything where you could just get something on it and it's going in, right? Sometimes just a little touch, bro. It goes in, it takes it away from the keeper, takes away from the defender. He's not there, It's honestly just, it's honestly pathetic. And that's why for me, when I always see people scapegoating Maresca, right? As much as I've criticized them this season, it don't matter what happens, bro. I'm seeing Alex in the chat as well right now saying, oh, he's done that sub many times. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. Okay. But we're talking about this game in isolation. This game in isolation, Sancho helped him against Ipswich. He came on and he scored a goal. Fantastic goal, by the way, right? He came on yesterday and he was one of the reasons why we had a lot more intensity, right? Whilst you've got someone up top that's playing there right now, Jackson, he's had the most shots since January without a goal in Europe's top 5 leagues. 27 shots without a goal, blood. That is what we've got going on. And I told you guys that this guy came to Europe in 2019. He's very, very clear in his game, AJ. Very, very clear in his game that he's behind his development. And surprise, surprise, he confirmed it the other day on Sky Sports News that Unai Emery taught him everything that he knows, basically. Because when he came to Europe, he was running about everywhere. You know what I mean? He didn't know what to do. You know what I'm saying, AJ?
No, I mean, I hear you and I agree. I think it's unfortunate that the weight has been put on this guy's shoulders for like the past 2 seasons. He's been, Chelsea's number 1 striker, and Chelsea is normally associated with these, damn near legendary type strikers. So he's not bringing that level or even close to that level. So it's already, rough for him. And then we analyze the flaws in his game, his box anticipation, his movement, his shooting technique, his, decision making in the final last 15, 20 yards, that's what separates the top players, especially in striker where you have like split second to make your decision and to execute. So, I think it's clear that that's a problem. But what's unfair as well is, you bigged up Sancho for impacting the game, but before that, Sancho was having stinker after stinker after stinker, and he was we in those wing positions we have replacements for them, or at least other people who can play in those positions whilst these people are off of form. For Jackson, there's really nobody, because if we put Nkunku there, we see what happens. We don't have any other, certain level of striker to replace him when he's off form. So it's tough for him because he's going to play the next game and he's going to play the next game. It's to the point where we were putting Neto up top. Now we're at George, we might put George up top. He might play good one game, and then he might have 2 games where he's non-existent. Now what? We back to Jackson. So it's like we need to fully address the position, get a real main striker. I would say we need to get 2 strikers because Jackson, to me, he's more, and I think many people agree, he's more of like a wing type, forward type player, somebody who would play off of like a striker, can create space for a striker, create opportunities, because he's good with his close control. He can lay off the ball good. Neto should have scored in the first half. From Jackson's left in the box, you know. So or was that the second half? I don't know. Remember what half that was, but
I remember that one. Yep.
He brings qualities to the team, but he's just not being. You know, he's not executing in the box, 1, and 2, he's not really being used in his best position, I think. So I think hopefully we get like a Osimhen or a Gyökeres. You know, we need that level of striker, somebody who just knows exactly what to do. No teaching needed. They just put them there and let them cook. So
And for me, Couch, you make some good points there, AJ. And for me, Couch, listen, this issue with Jackson goes back to the sporting directors. Like, I know they tried to get Osimhen, they couldn't get over the line with him, right? And we were basically left in limbo because obviously it was between Osimhen or Tony to go to Saudi, if you guys remember, right? This guy was sure he was going to have Saudi there, but he took so long that Tony's the one that they ended up taking there, right? Then all of a sudden, man ends up going to fucking Turkey instead of coming Chelsea because of less money or whatever it was that he wanted, right? So they fucked up. So that's on the sporting directors. But like Iceman is saying, I have been calling Jackson out since December, right? I've been calling Maresca out and saying, yo, you need to drop this guy because he is not doing what you need him to do up there. He's not scoring goals. His link-up play right now is stinking out the place. He's getting chance after chance that you're creating with this system that everyone hates. He's creating chance after chance. He's not taking these chances, right? So ultimately, when you're not picking up results and this thing happens with the fans where the fans don't like you because you're not getting results, right? You have to look at yourself and look at the guy that's leading the line. He is not helping you right now. Drop his ass, bro. Yeah, you need to drop his ass. You know what I mean? And that's where Maresca went wrong this season, Couch. This guy had to be dropped from early. Gil should have been introduced into the team from early.
You got to stop with this Gil talk, man. I'm not having it. I'm not having it, man.
I'm sorry, Coach. I'm sorry, Coach. It's true. It's true because we in the summer, right? This guy was bigging him up, talking about he's staying, he's not going on loan. We decided not to loan him out, right? If it's up to me, in my ideal world, Gil is a third choice striker. You have a Jackson there, you have a Osimhen there, whatever, starting. Then you've got a Gil that comes in third choice, whatever, and send him out alone. That's what I would do, right? But the facts are, at the minute, he's our only natural striker. Yeah, Jackson kept missing.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny though? You know what's funny though? Like nobody was talking about Nkunku until January because he was banging goals. He's got what 13, 14 goals this season. Yeah, he's falling off. He's falling off of form and whatnot. But
Nkunku. No, bro, I was talking about him. I was talking about him in the Prem. Wasn't doing anything in the Prem. Even
in the Prem.
Even in the conference league games, like
he never played in the Prem. That was part of the problem. The fact that he wasn't playing in the Prem. And then when we got into December and Jackson was playing week after week after week and not scoring, everyone's like, "Well, where's Nkunku? Oh, now he's not playing because he's out of form now because he hasn't played."
Okay, that's true. Right. But what I'm saying is with Nkunku, just before you come in, with Nkunku, he was playing in the conference league and he was getting goals, but I was telling you, look, like I haven't been overly impressed with his overall performances. Like he hasn't really been moving me. Like, yeah, he's been scoring the goals, cool. But when I'm watching him, I'm not really liking what I'm seeing from him up top, if that makes sense. I was telling Ads about this, and Ads was saying, yo, in preseason he was good, and I was like, I don't know, he was all right, but I haven't really been impressed with him overall this time around. But just to go back a little bit, go. What was he saying about Jackson and the Gil situation?
No, I'm just saying specifically, like we were all okay with Nkunku. Like I remember that specifically. We were talking about Nkunku needs to be getting more minutes in the Prem. And he was scoring in the conference league. And then what happened was when we got into the run in December, the games are coming thick and fast. Jackson drops his form, and we're still not seeing Nkunku. Then now Jackson gets injured. He comes in, like he hasn't seen a lot of action, right? Like we were all saying that Nkunku was our best finisher. I remember that vividly.
Yeah, but at the same time, I recognize very quickly that he's not a striker. I recognize it very, very quickly, bro.
What is a striker? But somebody
y'all can hear me?
that can finish.
Yeah,
Nah,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
just good. He's good at finishing when he has an opportunity in the box. He don't have to be in
He was our
striker,
best finisher, right?
but he doesn't have to be in
Finisher.
striker to show that.
A striker is a finisher, right? Okay, like you're talking about a complete
Striker's more
striker.
than a finisher.
A complete
Way
striker
more
is
than
something. A complete striker is something completely different. But a guy that gets in the box and scores is a striker, poacher, however you want to look at it, right? And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about with Nkunku, right? So when we're talking about, okay, well, this guy shouldn't have been playing, this guy shouldn't have been playing, we're all okay with that until January, when everything kind of like fell off.
Mhm.
And I'm now seeing, Jackson. Even when Jackson got injured, people were like baiting for him to come back. Say, well, I can't wait for Jackson to come back. Then we'll start firing. And now it's like, he can't hit the side of a barn. You know, like it's clear we need a striker. I know that. I've known that from time. I've been saying it since I can't tell you how long. Right? But the fact still
About 5
remains.
years. It
feels like that. It feels
no,
like
no, it has because we used to have these
about
conversations about Havertz. We used to have these conversations about Havertz.
Yep.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's very true. That's very true. So yeah, I'm
in
like
5 years.
Yeah, and I'm like, January. We talked about this last week or whenever it was we were together before. Like January, and in some way, shape, or form, we probably should have brought somebody in, not knowing that. First of all, Nkunku, we can't just give up on Nkunku because he was scoring in the first half of the season, and the reason why we had him in the squad was because we thought that he was going to be our striker. You can't just give up on him. He was still there. We didn't expect Gu to get injured. We didn't expect Jackson to get injured. So when all of these things happened at the exact moment that it did, it kind of left us a little hamstrung. And that's just the position that we felt to put ourselves in. Tyreek Joyce comes in, you play him there. He bangs in a big goal, But I'm not really into the revisioning thing, man, because we were all talking about Nkunku as being, he needs to get more minutes. He needs to be playing a little bit more. And he didn't really step up when he was given the opportunity to do so. But the fact still remain. The reason why they didn't go out and get like a premium striker right now is because we thought that Nkunku can give us the minutes that he didn't. Simple. That's how I thought.
Also, I think people forget Jackson. There was a point in the period of the season. There was a period of time in the season where Jackson was actually being clinical and actually scoring his goals. So we actually thought that Jackson took that step forward. Yeah. Then he got injured, and he's shown that he's back at that level. It was just
before the injury though, he did go like 7 games without a goal. So there was the good form, then there was bad form, and then the injury.
Yeah. Exactly.
And one of Maresca's problems was not integrating Nkunku in the Premier League team early enough, because we did go on like a nice run, which pushed us up the table. We ended up, a couple points off top. So you kind of don't want to change the chemistry of the team, but the detriment of that is losing the confidence and that, the desire of Nkunku, because remember from preseason, he was cooking and we was just waiting for this guy to get added to the team. But it never happened, and sometimes that happens in sports where, the coach might stumble upon a formula and somebody's going to get left out just because you can't really change that chemistry. But now we suffering from that. So it's been a complicated thing, but, there are also places where Maresca fell short.
Man started having a conversation.
Right? With the whole live camera.
This cat's hungry. That's what it is, bro. I tell you.
What you just said to the cat, bro?
I just boxed it away, man. Boxed away the pillow, man.
So man said not right now. He said to the cat, not right now.
And the fucking cat walked away, bro.
I have to box it away, man.
It's so funny. The moment you started talking about cats, someone's talking about Felix in the chat, bro. You know what I'm saying, bro? But honestly, for me, listen, I hear it. Early on in the season, we was talking about Nkunku getting more minutes. But for me, when I saw this guy start against Ipswich, I said, nah, he's not a striker. Because I remember I was even going back and forth with Roms about this. He was like, bro, just drop Jackson and play Nkunku up top. I said, bro, to play up top, there's more than just finishing, right? How are you going to hold up the ball? How are you going to be in the box? Are you an aerial threat, right? Do you run the channels? Do you even press from the front? And these are all things that Nkunku was not offering. So I was like, bro, he's not a striker. Let's play Gil. You know what I mean? But anyway, in terms of obviously, going forward, for you, Ads, actually, Jimmy, let me go to you, Jim, because obviously, you're someone, again, like I said before you joined, bro. I said you were really adamant against George playing up top and whatnot. But yesterday you changed your take. Do you want to see Jackson drop for George now, bro?
It don't, to me, it don't really make a difference. Like I'm not against it. Like I'm not like, oh, drop him, but like I give in. Like I could, it'd be impossible for me to argue against it. Put it like that. I've been put in a position, pause, to where I can't argue. I can't argue.
You're quick with it too.
George,
This guy's quick with it, man.
Giving George a run, giving George a run out. Like he scored in Europe. He scored again. Like, yeah, give him a run out. Only thing is, I like what Don don't get with this idea. Don be asking people to put their livelihood, their jobs, into the hand of an inexperienced 18-year-old. It's like, Don, I'm sorry. I know it sounds good to you. 9.9 out of 10 managers is not doing that. They're going to rely on...
Yeah, but Jim, that's how you get sacked.
No, Don, no. It's not about how you get sacked. Regardless, they'll rather get sacked than put their faith in a 17, 18, 19, because more than likely, they're not going to come through. George came through yesterday. Dewey, like the revision, like when Jackson, with the time you talk about Dewey should have played, Don, I completely disagree. I completely disagree. He just wasn't ready. He wasn't ready.
What made him not ready?
Jimmy, you're speaking facts right now.
Hold on. Let's dive into it. Let's dive into it more. What was it about him that made you think he wasn't ready at the time, Jim, to play?
Because he wasn't ready. It's the print. Where did he play? Where you see him play to decide that he's ready?
No, but surely you must be seeing something in his game. Because if I give you an example of Moreira, I watched Moreira when we played the Carabao Cup game last season, right? When I saw a man playing, I'm seeing him giving the ball away. I'm seeing him getting shrugged by people. I'm seeing him not really trying to take people on. I could see this guy's not ready for Chelsea, right? Whereas when I'm seeing Gil played in the fucking Conference League, I'm seeing someone who's actually a striker. I'm seeing someone scoring a goal that Jackson, scoring a hat-trick goal, by the way, that Jackson ain't never going to score in his career, blood.
Yeah, but at the same time,
Jackson scored one of the worst hat-tricks I've seen at Spurs, yeah? And like I said to you lot, for me, it was easier to want to see this guy, Jim, because
bro,
just like Couch said, bro, at the time, Nkunku had like 11, 12 goals and shit. Jackson had like 9 or whatever at the time. I'm sorry, yo, they can be off form. Nobody's going to start an 18-year-old over that. You're just not. You're gonna rely more on him.
And that's what I'm doing. Can I just jump in on that too? Can I just jump in on that real quick too? Because I agree with you. And not just that, but like you think about the dressing room. This isn't like FIFA where you can just like the when you throw people in there and the chemistry is like you can't put an 8 in front of Nkunku and Jackson and expect that.
Okay, but what's Nkunku?
This not to disrupt like what's happening in the dressing room.
Oh, gosh, that's what I'm saying. That's why for me as a manager, I'm fucking ruthless, mate. Yeah. I'm fucking.
But that's why you're not a manager. Because you gotta learn how to manage people, bro.
Exactly.
I'm saying no, bro. I'll manage him. I'll tell him. I'll say Jackson. Jackson. Hold on. Let me explain how I'll do it, bro. Let me explain how I'll do it. Because end of the day, they're not gonna sell Jackson, right? It's me that's gonna get sacked, right? I'm putting all my trust in you, and you keep missing chances after chances. This is the problem I had with Graham Potter. We had a conversation about this before. Graham Potter used to create chances in his team at times, right? With the players that we had, even though we had bare injuries and that. And Havertz used to keep missing week after week. And I kept saying at the time, play Datro Fofana, play Aubameyang, right? Give someone else an opportunity to change your fortunes, right? Why am I going to stick with something that's not working, bro? I don't give a shit. I'm looking at Jackson. Hold on, Jim, yeah? I'm looking at Jackson. I'm looking at a squad player at best, right? I'm looking at a guy that just came to Europe in 2019. And then I'm looking at Nkunku, and I can clearly see he's not a striker. Yeah, I'm playing Gil because you know why? That might even motivate Jackson. Jackson.
How bad it is now, it wasn't that bad then.
It was bad.
So like,
it was.
It wasn't. Don, wait, but Don, hold on, Don. Just because you eventually became right, that don't mean you were right in the moment. It was not. Don, I'm sorry, it was not. You can't have your striker have 7 bad games, right? And then you say, oh, Nkunku, the guy I use in conference league, he got 11, 12 goals. He's my backup. But I'm going to skip over them to go to a left or right winger to play striker. Bro, there's levels.
I never said you.
It's a hierarchy.
Hold on, Jimmy. I never said you.
Also, but Don, this is the risk you take. But Don, this is the risk you take. That shit better work. Because if it don't, you just lost your locker room.
Exactly.
Risk reward, bro.
Jim, you have not lost your locker room, bro. Because when I'm seeing Enzo,
you don't know that. You're saying that now. We're talking about Don.
Let me finish what I'm saying, bro.
Listen. In that moment, he does that. Tariq George goes out there. He stinks up the place.
I'm not even talking about George. You're mixing things up, Jimmy. You're mixing things up. I never asked for George to be starting in December. I asked for Gil to be starting.
Either one. We're talking about the age of the player. Everybody is saying, do not toss the player. I remember this, like, yo, I'm old enough. Don't toss Dewey to the Wolves. Don, it can be you. We understand your side of it. We know where you stand. We're talking about conventional wisdom. We can't throw out conventional wisdom and act like that don't play a part. It plays a part. There's a way to do it.
Can I say something? Can I say something? Yeah, because like I said, this whole thing over Christmas, if you go back to the games over Christmas, the likes of Fulham, the likes of Ipswich, actually Jackson didn't even play that game. He played in Cuckoo, who was shit. Yeah, fucking, you had Fulham over that period, right? A lot of those games, we didn't win those games a lot because we failed to take our chances, right? And when I'm imagining Gil in those positions that Jackson's in, right? For me, he's taking that chance.
Okay,
right? And that's a chance. Hold on, Jim. Wait.
What do we always say about Jackson?
Let me finish.
Wait, hold on. Wait, I don't want. Wait, because you're going to miss a point. What we always said about Jackson was he misses the chances, but the chances he get, our other strikers would not even be able to get there. Nkunku didn't have hold-up play like that, and Dewey don't have the agility and the speed to move like Jackson.
The agility or the speed, though. Hey, this is what I mean. You need to go research on the guy. You need to go.
We've seen Dewey move like Jackson.
Jim. You listen, Jim. You're only.
He's a good presser. He's a good presser. I'll give him that.
Jim. Listen, this is what I'm saying, bro. You weren't in the group chat. Jim,
remember what Jackson was doing at the time. Jackson's build-up play and all of that. The only problem we had was he didn't finish. He did everything else except finish. And I remember having the conversations of, well, damn, we give Jackson credit for getting in those positions where he's getting there, but he's not finishing. But Nkunku couldn't get there, and we had no idea what Dewey could do.
Yeah, but Jimmy, no. You had no idea. I did. Yeah.
Don, come on. We talk about in a Chelsea kit, bro. Don, come on. We know. Don, wait. The one thing you being a little bit disingenuous. The one thing you being a little bit disingenuous about, right?
I'm not being disingenuous.
Don, every player we sign, if you look at the right footage, you could say he looked like he could do something, and you can predict he's going to do something.
What do you mean the right footage? What does that even mean, Jim? What does that even mean?
Because they can all look good at something. That's why they got signed. Chelsea will never sign a player who, when you look at the count, you'll be like, oh, he's shit.
Jim,
never.
But Jim, one of the main things that I spoke when I was watching this guy, right? What I did deliberately was I sent these guys videos of him so they can all see, right? AJ Couch and AJ Couch adds Winter Surfer, yeah. They will have videos on their phone right now, seeing Gil pressing, man, and scoring multiple goals just from pressing, right? The movement, I was showing these guys his movement in the box, right? I was showing these guys his finishing. I watched multiple games, bro. And like I said to you, yeah, when
so the games that Dewey played for, did he kill? Did he bag?
Hold on, Jim, bro.
Yeah? We're talking as if he didn't play. When he actually did play against that lower level stuff, did he look amazing? Because last time I checked, he didn't. He looked okay.
You're not even letting me finish. You're not even letting me finish what I'm saying, bro. You're not even letting me finish what I'm saying, yeah? Right? And if you actually go back to when we bought this guy, Barcelona fans were fucking angry, bro. Because he was on the verge. He was on the verge. Hold on, bro. He was on the verge.
The pitch,
Wait, Jimmy, let him land, bro. We need to let this thing flow, bro.
he was on the verge. He was on the verge of basically breaking through that team. And he actually scored on his debut for them as well. Yeah, it was a very good goal. If you go check his movement for that one, it was a very good goal, right? I knew what he could bring to the team before people were watching it, because I'm lucky with the thing that I've got with Wisecout, bro. I watched his games back, right? And what I was seeing from him in the conference is exactly what I was seeing from him when I was watching him at Barcelona. What I saw from him when he came on against West Ham, hold on, bro. What I saw from him when he came on against West Ham is exactly what I was seeing from him when I was watching him at Barcelona, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. So end of the day, you're treating Jackson as if he's fucking Isak or Gyökeres and we can't drop him, bro. Jackson was stinking, and he's a squad player at best. So I don't give a fuck.
Bro,
I would drop him.
when y'all tell me about when somebody's treating somebody like Don. It's like y'all don't fucking listen when somebody else talk. It's like y'all just waiting to hear your side. This has nothing to do with Jackson. It's about you having blind faith. It's regardless of what you want to, Don, let's be real. Let's really be real. Every fucking player you look at, you think is just as great as Dewey. Let's just be real.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
You do. You think they're all great.
I could just debunk that right now.
Don, the amount of players I've heard you say you don't was so great. They all great.
Wait. Before we go down that rabbit hole, let me just touch on one thing that Jimmy said. Right?
Before you come in, yeah, that's just bogus though. Because when I was watching Omarodian, the same way I was watching Gil, I was telling these man I don't want to sign him. I don't like him. What I'm watching. That's what I told these lot, bro. But anyway, go on, lads.
Yeah, no, listen, we don't want to get into every single individual conversation about certain players, right? But one point that I did, again, ultimately, I'm more on Don's side of this conversation, right? But that's not to say that I don't hear or agree with some parts of what Jimmy and Couch are saying, because it is very difficult thing as for managers. It's easy for us to say from our couches, quite literally, no pun intended, but it's easy for us to sometimes say that, oh, let's drop this guy for a younger player or whatever, right? When you're actually in the thick of it, you're in the kitchen, you're in the heat, and your job's on the line. It's hard to drop a guy who's on £100,000 a week or £150,000 a week for a kid who's got less than 50 senior appearances and these kind of things, right? Because we know what it is like for managers. A lot of these guys, they'll give a kid a chance, but it's easier to drop him knowing that he's not going to cry about it, he's not going to complain about it. But the more experienced guys in the team, obviously you're going to upset the dressing room. You know that Jackson's got his cliques in the dressing room that are going to be like, oh, why is Jackson being dropped and this kind of thing, right? So I hear that part of it, and that's why it's difficult. It's not easy for managers to make those decisions. However, I don't like how people talk these days about how it's almost like it's impossible for people to drop experienced guys or guys who are starters, because it's not as common, but we can't act like we never see it, because literally the best team in the world right now, Barcelona, they do that, bro. Look at all the kids that they bring through in the team, and they drop big names like Araujo being dropped, De Jong being dropped, even Lewandowski at times being dropped. They drop big players, and I've seen other teams do it quite often. So my point is again, obviously, you give people like your Jacksons, obviously your Palmers, their leeway, right? You give them chances to play themselves back into form. But when you're seeing something over and over again not performing, why would you then not give players chances? And my point is not that, you should have been starting games in November. I was not saying that. I don't think even Don was saying that. But my point was, we were all criticizing the fact that Maresca could have been at times trying to change things up when we were seeing Palmer not doing well in the second half of games. Why not maybe either bring on a Felix who was coming off of like really good games in the Conference League? Same for Nkunku. Or why not, let's say, put Palmer to the right wing? And by the way, with the striker situation, we're always saying that, you know what, Jackson doesn't have to start and finish games when he's starting games decent and then ending games horribly. So we were all saying that, why don't he try and change things? And that's when you could have introduced the Guiu, and if Guiu was performing well, maybe he could have started the odd game in the league or whatnot, but we weren't doing that. Again, in Nkunku, he was actually performing well in the Conference League. We weren't seeing him get many chances when he was actually in good form. So, of course, now when he was getting iced out of the team, there were links to buy, and of course his head's gone when he started preseason well and he was hardly used. So that's my point. So I feel like Don has a point when he's saying that, someone like a Guiu could have got more chances, and we're seeing Jackson for 7, 8, 9 games in a row play like shit. Of course, you can trust somebody younger and give them at least
he did get chances, though. Let's not ignore that he did get chances, though.
That's what I said. When you played Conference League, did he tear it up? That's what I want to know.
Well, he was the highest goal scorer in there. He was literally the highest goal scorer in there.
He had a lot of good games in the Conference, but I'm talking about Premier League chances.
That's the point. What are we talking about?
Even in Nkunku wasn't getting chances in the Prem early. He wasn't getting chances. But the whole point is we're saying why don't other players get chances? Because we saw Jackson get played until he was shit. Palmer get played until he was shit. I don't even get subbed for Felix, who, again, I don't like Felix that much, but at least Felix was performing in the Conference.
At the same time,
we didn't trust these guys.
Team chemistry. We were in like second place.
I'm just going to say this real quick. This is all.
Not at the end of December, we were.
I think. Okay, fine. That was 6, 7 games. Okay, like we're all talking about time. That's what we're talking about.
Exactly.
How long it takes for you to make the decisions when you guys want to see them made immediately. And a coach,
No.
like
I was
Maresca,
happy to see these guys given time. I just felt like they could have been introduced slowly with like 10, 15
all
minutes
I'm
off the
saying
bench.
is, all
And
I'm
Kunku
saying
coming on in the 87th minute most weeks made no
18
sense.
minutes, 18 games into the season, 18 games into the season, or even less than that, is not the time when you're trying to take away your best pieces and tell them you're sitting on the bench for an 18-year-old. That's all I'm saying.
It was too early.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you lot are
don't
just
bench
doing
Jackson,
you lot are
don't
just doing the
bench Cole
generic stuff
Palmer.
though. I'm sorry, you lot. The thing is, this is what I'm saying though. You lot are doing you lot are doing the generic
Generic?
stuff. Yeah, whilst I'm seeing, hold on, you lot are doing the generic stuff. Whilst I'm seeing
What is
Enzo
generic
right now.
about that?
Enzo,
What is
What's
because
generic
you're
about
saying-
generic? John, but what
the
you
reality,
talking about?
hold on. The reality is, over that period, we kept dropping points and losing games, whatever was going on during that period, because we could not finish our dinner, right? So you lot are just basically hoping that Jackson all of a sudden starts to bag them in, right? Whereas me, I'm sorry, bro, my patience is very thin, especially at this level.
Clearly.
If I'm consistently seeing you missing chances the way you were, I am
But
going
what's
to punish
consistent
you.
to
Yeah?
you?
I am
What's
going to punish
consistent?
you. Hold on, Jim. I am gonna punish you to make sure that you're motivated again. Because, bro, Jackson, he's got every player's got ego. You don't want to get dropped for an 18-year-old. You're not right. You don't want to get dropped. But guess what? Now that's gonna make man move in the box. Now that's gonna make him not ball watch no more, bro. Because he knows I got dropped last time for 18-year-old. I've got to fix up when I start next time.
Everybody's point is correct. Everybody's point is correct. Everybody's point is correct. Jimmy is correct.
Time,
it was
right?
too early at that time, but Don is correct. Maresca waited too long. He put too much faith in Kunku when it was clear to see we all had discussions prior to games.
I don't know how you drop your players like after like.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But it's not even drop. Again, just to make it clear, right? Eventually, it got to a point where Jackson should have been dropped. But we weren't saying drop him immediately. We were just saying, why is Jackson playing 88 minutes in a game when he's playing awful? Why isn't Kunku, who had a hot hand in Europe, actually not coming on earlier in games? And then we would have seen that in Kunku up front doesn't work, and then you can go to Giyu soon after. Exactly. We waited too long for these things, and then a chain reaction happened, and in Kunku we were gonna sell him, and then Giyu and Jackson get injured, and then we're left with a frustrated in Kunku who's playing like Arsenal striker.
Right? Here's the one thing everybody leaving out.
Go ahead.
On Kunku, João Felix, all these people outside of Giyu, they proved to us why Maresca didn't play them. They wasn't good enough. João Felix left us, went to a whole nother team, and he's in the same fucking position. He's been for us twice, Atletico Madrid. Every team he's ever played for, João Felix has ended up in the same spot. The fact that us as Chelsea fans is like, I can't believe Maresca didn't play João Felix. Nobody does.
I agree.
Nobody plays him.
But he should have got chances. But I agree that he was his Arsenal. I agree that.
Yeah, but let me bring
what I'm saying. So even though I agree, even if we agree that he should have gave, I think we kind of see why he didn't give Nkunku the minutes.
No, and Nkunku was good enough. He was just again poorly used, and obviously now he got to a point where clearly his head is not at Chelsea. He wanted to leave, it didn't go through, and then we were playing him at the 9. When again, I've watched his whole career. I know that this guy is not a 9. He is not a 9. He's never been a focal point.
I don't care. Nkunku's not a striker.
I don't want him as striker. I wanted him to at times play in the 10 position where he actually plays. That's his actual position as a second striker. And Maresca didn't make use of that. Again, he made use of that in pre-season when Palmer came back late from the Euros. And Nkunku's playing in a 10, second striker, and he's playing good for most of the games. And most importantly, getting goals, getting assists. He was effective. But we didn't use him in there in the Premier League.
Let me bring Andrew into this. Yeah.
Just quickly, how many times do we want to see like Palmer? We wanted to see Palmer on the right, so we can get Nkunku into the side in his rightful position. Like it was all of that, man. Like I agree.
Who's saying that?
Let me bring Andrew into this, because look, Jimmy, you bring up the point about Felix, but I have to disagree, right? Because as much as Felix
Felix is good. Okay.
No, that's not the point that I'm making.
I want you to prove that shit.
Let me land.
Everywhere he go, he's still.
Let me land.
Prove to me, letting João Felix go was a bad move. I want to hear this.
Jimmy, let me finish what I'm saying. Then you can get my point. You can get my point, bro. Right? Me, I don't fight for Felix, Jim. I'll be real with you. I don't fight for him because his end product ain't the greatest, right? But like people are saying in the comments, people are saying a lot of things right now, which I agree with. Like that JJ saying, big up JJ, says Felix didn't even get a chance to show if he's good or not, right? And I'll be real. I'll be real, Jim. Hold on, Jim. I'm gonna take this to Andrew.
We're not about to do this. João Felix didn't get his chance shit.
Right.
No, Jim.
Oh my God, I've never seen a player get so much leeway, bro.
No, but Jim,
He's played for 77 teams, bro.
Jim. Hold on, Jim.
Everybody's doing him wrong. Everybody.
Yeah, but no, Jim. I'm with you on that one, bro. I'm with you. Like he's not been able to settle anywhere. Everything that you're saying, Jim, is fair enough. Like Felix, since he's left Benfica, his career has not been good. Let's be real. It hasn't gone to the direction it was meant to go down, right? But the point that I'm making, Andrew, is even though you didn't want Felix, even if you didn't fancy Felix, and a lot of the chat will be saying this as well, the likes of Vega, the likes of Felix, Andrew, yeah, they could have come off the bench in certain games and helped us do something. Right, you could have brought on Vega to help assure the game. You bring on 3 centre backs, bro. Yeah, and you know what's so funny about that as well? You know what's so funny about that, Jim? No, but Jim. He came on.
Couch, I apologize. Because we were actually arguing with you over Jorgensen. That's how I feel right now. I'm hearing niggas arguing with me over João Felix and fucking Viega.
Jimmy, chill.
Jimmy, you're not listening.
This is a fucking middle, bro. I'm sorry. I am not about to play Maresca, not for playing João Felix.
Oh, Tokyo Gelato there. Quickly, whilst I tell you what I'm saying, yeah? What I'm saying right now is there was many games where I'm looking at Palmer on the pitch. When we go to games, it's easier to see these players off the ball, yeah? I'm telling you, bro. There was many games where Palmer is tired, bro. I'm seeing man's face is red. He's tired, right? Even Enzo Fernandez, he's tired, bro. When they've got no energy on the pitch, they're not doing much anyway, bro. All that's gonna happen is you're gonna let teams run onto you. When we played Fulham, yeah, he made 1 sub that game. These guys were tired, yeah. These guys were tired, bro. I remember that game. He could have brought on João Felix to do something different, right? João Felix came on against Bournemouth. The free kick that we won, that Reece scored, it was João Felix that won it, bro. Yeah, Vega. You can't tell me Vega won in certain games that helped us, bro. You're not gonna tell me that, Jim. You're not gonna tell me that.
Yo, we're nitpicking, bro.
I know you're gonna let Andrew come in, but I want to make sure that we come back. I want to come off the back of this again. I know you're gonna let Andrew come in, though.
Reserving spots. No, God.
Have to, man. I have to try and get at least a 1 word in, man.
Keep it rolling. I like this.
I think it's more of it's not a case of an individual player. It's more a case of Maresca using the squad a bit better. I think that's the overall discussion, not the individual. Because I'm sorry, if you mention João Felix to me, I'm going to be totally biased because I think he's shit. So I'm going to be totally biased to it. I'm sorry, I just can't. So, but I think also with Gui, I think it's more a case of I don't remember people calling for him. I think it was that performance when he got injured, and people were like going, "Oh, he created. He was more of a box presence than Jackson," and then ironically he got injured, and we should try him a bit more. I don't remember us like fawning or going, "Oh, we should definitely pay Gui." Even after he scored in the Conference League, we weren't going, "Well, Gui's got to get a chance now in the league." I don't remember that. I remember
nobody
after the transfer window ended, it was it's okay. We got Jackson and Cuckoo will be the backup.
Thank you.
Now,
that wasn't the conversation. That was not the conversation in January. The conversation was.
No, I'm not. I said after. Sorry, I meant the transfer window in the summer. After the transfer window, after the transfer window ended, it was not even during the transfer window. It wasn't when we knew we weren't going to get a striker. It wasn't like I can't remember conversations about like giving Gui much of a chance. It was just after that performance, ironically, when he got injured. That was when people were talking about giving him more of a chance. If you want the overall discussion about Maresca using his squad a bit more, yeah, you could have that overall discussion. Maybe he should have used his squad a bit more, but I think that's just to be expected over a fledgling manager. Do you know what I mean? And that's in his second season that has got the big job, and he's finding out who's good, who's not, what's good, what's not, and stuff like that. But that comes with the territory and experience. Maybe a more experienced manager would use the squad a bit more, and Gui may have
you stole my fucking thunder, man. Jesus, I'm just gonna go on that, man.
Do you know how long I've been waiting? Hang on a minute. Do you know how long I've been waiting? I've been listening, not been waiting, but I've been listening. I mean, if we were a scuba team right now, my oxygen tank would be running out, but with me waiting so long to talk. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm waiting for. But I'm just saying this. You know, that's more of a case. A more experienced manager will probably use the squad better. A bit more, but I think that's one of the things where you had to give Maresca kind of a break because he's never been in this type of situation before. It's only his second full season. But individual players, using them a bit better, maybe. Like I said, with João Felix, you'll never get me to concede that he's any good. And the reason I'm not getting on Felix, how bad he's doing at Milan, Don, is because he's still our effing player when he gets back. Do you know what I mean? So we still got that problem. Do you know what I mean? So that's why you never see me responding to how bad he's doing at Milan, because I knew he was going to be that bad. And also, he's still our player. We still have that problem on the way back. But my feeling with the overall thing with João Felix, my feeling with Felix, Don, unless someone comes in with a ridiculous offer, this is going to be a Lukaku situation where he's out on loan for a few years, like 3 or 4 years. He's out on loan, and we can't get rid of him. Do you know what I mean? But you're right. You're right, though. Maresca, overall thing, Maresca could have used this certain players a bit more. But it's unfortunately, it's just one of the things you'd have to accept. The type of
the A-team, B-team shit fucked up the squad. I'm telling you guys,
you're not wrong about that. But at the same time,
AJ, touch upon that in a second. AJ. But go on, Cal.
Well, that's where I was going to go with it. But you have to remember, first of all, like Maresca is a young man. He's not an infallible manager. He's young. He's coming up from the championship. You can't expect him to get every decision right. Like, he has to learn too. He's very much still trying to find his way as a young manager. But at the same time, you're going to take a young manager. He's going to go into that Chelsea dressing room and bench Nkunku and Jackson for Guiu and Tariq George 16, 17, 18 games into the season. If that goes pear-shaped, what happens to his career? What happens to him? So take all that into account when you're talking about, he should have done this, all this revisionism stuff, because he has a lot of pressure on him right now to make the right decisions. And more often than not, he's going to pick the guys that he thinks has the most experience than the guys that he does not know much about. Tariq George wasn't even with the first team for the first half of the season. He came in every now and then. So you're going to give him now starting minutes because he's banged a couple goals? I don't know, guys, man. I think that like management, this is kind of why I likened it to like this whole FIFA football manager thing, because like the temperament that you need to be a top manager, like a man manager in the Premier League, has the resolve that you have to have, and like the patience that you have to have in your squad is way higher than what you give. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna get this guy out of here and just put this guy in here and put this guy out here and put that guy in here. Like, you don't work like that at the top level.
But Kosh, this is why I love the game, though.
So you're saying like after 6 games, that's enough time to evaluate that you're gonna play your third choice striker.
Broski, when I'm not even third choice, he's our second choice, because we literally have no other striker.
Nkunku's our second choice. Nkunku's our second choice. Nkunku was brought in as our second choice striker. If you saw during the okay, but in the
he's not a striker, and our manager said it as well. Our manager said he's not a striker.
League games, where was he played? Who did he play?
Yeah, but it doesn't mean he's still a striker.
Okay,
doesn't mean he's a striker.
Okay, let's just do away with the semantics right now. He was the guy that we're using in that position. Okay, he was our number 9. Okay,
yeah, but he's not. I still don't look at him as a striker.
Irrespective of how you look at him, he was used as our number 9.
Don, you keep saying about how you look at him. Don, you're gonna miss everything every time you saying how you look at him. You're not Chelsea's manager.
Hold on, Jim. Everything that he's saying is still debunked by Maresca. Maresca came out multiple times.
Don, we know it, but Don, it's like you taking it literally. We know he's saying Nkunku's not a striker. Period. Let's do it. Nkunku's not a striker. Period. But he can do a job.
He also said he can play multiple positions for us. The beginning of the season, he's like, he can play the 9, he can play the 11, he can play the 10.
Yeah, the point what a manager basically has to do in that situation, he can't come out and say, oh yeah, my board fucked me over and didn't get me a striker. He can't. That's probably what he wants to say.
The better question is,
this is why I love the game, though, because we're all sitting here, right, and we would all manage the situation differently. Couch and Jimmy are more on the experience side of things. Time will tell, and just give it a bit of time. Whereas I'm more ruthless. Yeah, I'm more brave in my thinking. Right, I want to problem solve when I can see things aren't working, because I've seen many managers my whole time watching football keep persisting with something that ain't working, and they get sacked. That's how you get sacked, bro. You know what I'm saying?
The better question is, did Maresca has Maresca managed Nkunku
Wait, who scored?
as best as
Forrest.
he can? Forrest scored.
Let me find out who.
I'm looking at the corner right now.
Oh,
I'm
we
looking
can
at the corner
stop,
right
man.
now,
We
bro.
can stop.
Yeah, they scored. They
Always
scored.
say,
They didn't
I
score.
think we're
If I found out it's good again, bro. If I found out this is Chris Wood again.
Elanga.
Nah, it's a
No,
center back.
it's Anderson. It's a massive deflection.
Ooh, oh my days.
Yeah, it's a deflection. It's
I
not like a
smacked
free
it.
goal.
He smacked it there though. Maybe Vicario should do a little bit better though, man.
Oh, definitely.
No.
That's some butterfingers right there, bro. You know what's so funny about Anderson? If you don't watch Love Island, you know his brother's my man, the guy that's with that girl, Uma, the guy from Newcastle, man. What's
I
that
don't
man?
watch the show.
You don't watch Love Island? Oh, okay. There was a guy on Love Island last
Love
year.
Island? Nah, B.
Yeah, his brother is Elliot Anderson. His brother's Elliot Anderson. Yeah,
Hell of a deflection.
yeah, that's a big deflection, but Vicario. Let me see.
The goalkeeper's already diving downwards to.
Oh man, let me see the different angle there.
Yeah, it's a deflection.
Hey, come on, man. You gotta have a stronger hand than that, man. It
So
didn't really.
we in seventh now. We back in seventh.
It
Coming
didn't really
like
do
Jorgensen,
much,
man. Coming like Jorgensen.
No,
yeah?
six, because you got a better goal difference than.
Yeah,
Yeah, we just
Spurs
gotta
are-
keep winning. All that, what position we in is irrelevant because we gotta play these bastards and we gotta play Newcastle.
Exactly.
This-
I need to
how you feeling, Jim, going into these next set of games, bro? Like, did yesterday give you more confidence, bro?
Fuck no.
We've got Everton next, big man. We've got Everton next.
It gave me more hope, not more confidence. Just like hope. It gave me more hope. It didn't give me more
Just put
confidence.
alive.
But it
That's
gave
what
me
it is.
because it kind of showed you that the players like haven't given up. Like that, the way that you can see that meant a lot to them. So it just showed you that they haven't given up and they haven't quit on themselves. They haven't quit on the manager, but bigger than that, they haven't quit on themselves. Fuck everything else. They haven't quit on themselves. So that's good to know. Now, whether they can get inspired and keep going after this, I don't know. That remains to be seen. But they definitely showed that they haven't given up. You know what I mean? So that gives me more hope because I thought they had given up, bro. I thought they had given up, but they clearly haven't. They haven't given up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even one of the games a couple games ago where Cole Palmer was stinking it up. But it was like in the 80-something minute, he was still fighting and hustling. In the back of my mind, I was like, yo, damn, if you kind of checked out, you don't do this late in the game. So I was seeing it individually, but yesterday kind of showed me like, yeah, they haven't given up. So that just gives me more hope, but it don't give me no confidence at all. Hell.
Yeah, nah,
It's
bro. You
hard
can
to
tell
be
me yesterday, bro. Straight after the 90 minute, straight after the whistle went, bro. These lot were they came to us straight away. They were jumping, they were shouting. Like you can tell they care, innit? You know, and it's a bit of a shame what happened to Maresca. He didn't come to the fans after. He went straight down the tunnel. But like I keep saying, bro, fans are fickle, man. Start of the season, let's not forget we were singing Enzo Maresca's name. I was at the first game singing this guy's name. You know what I mean?
He deserved it. He deserved it at that time. He deserved it at that time. But he has let the fans down a little bit. But the team has also let the fans down. So
the team has let him down just as much as
I agree.
Again,
I agree.
You know, like, it's just like
I agree.
We're expecting Champions League level like winning management when this guy just came out of the freaking what was it, like the freaking League One or whatever it was, the championship division. And he has to get time to settle into this bigger squad. Like it's not, of course he's played at the highest level, but like managing at the highest level is a completely different thing. So I'm not panicked about it. These next few games, I've already said to you guys, it's Nottingham Forest, it's Newcastle. If we can find a way to resolve those two games in the right way, you guys, we're okay, you know. But there's nothing that I've seen yesterday that would lead me to suggest that we will get results out of those games. You know, I'm kind of still just what Chelsea's going to show up. You know, like are we going to get the result? You know, like yesterday was a perfect example. Like for about 89 minutes of that game, I was like, "Fuck these guys, man! What the fuck is this shit?" And then they get a screamer, and you're like, you know, limbs everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, you just never know what you're gonna get with these guys ever.
And I'm telling you, bro, next season, I'm telling people because people think I just defend this guy. Yeah, when I've criticized him many times, they won't clip you up or they won't talk about it when you're criticizing him. But the moment you offer a little bit of balance because
they never do that.
Yeah, that's when they'll start to say, "Oh, you just want to back this guy, right?" Because they've checked out. Yeah, like Alex says, he says, "Welcome to Chelsea. Learn fast." I'm telling you, bro. next season I am gonna be harsher on this guy, right? I am gonna be harsher on this guy, especially
Chris Woods go.
2-0, man. Fucking hell, man.
It's 2-0, yeah.
Yeah.
Chris
Ads,
Woods.
come back for your boy.
Ads,
man.
go ahead,
Come back
bust
for
a
your boy.
dance. Ads, he
Spurs are just
scored, bro.
pathetic, bro. But
I did score, Ads.
Listen,
Ads,
bro.
give us the drop.
Listen, when they told us, oh, there's no strikers available. Oh, we can get a Chris Wood and Mateta. They laughed at me. They laughed at me.
Still holding that.
Don't say man I can do with Jackson the whole season.
Get him the drop, Ads. Chris Woods scored, yo. Give him the
He's
drop.
off, man. He's offside. He's
Honestly,
offside.
You can have a go at Vicario for that.
That's why they want to do no celebration. I'm going to get me celebrated for offside goals. That's crazy.
No,
Oh, man, I'm
Yo,
over here
yo.
celebrating offside goals and shit.
Yeah,
That would
he's
be an
off. He's
Anderson
off.
assist as well, bro. That would have been an Anderson assist, yeah. But as I was saying, bro, next
Looking
season,
like
I'm telling you now, bro. I'm seeing Fabrizio and Ornstein and that are saying he's gonna be involved in like what's going on in the summer and that. If we plug these goals, yeah. I'm telling you, Andrew, you're laughing, bro. But I'm telling you, if we bring in a striker, we're bringing a centre back and whatnot. I'm seeing Hoyson and all of these things, yeah. And we improve the 11. I'm gonna be a lot harsher on this guy because now I'm looking at it and saying, yo, you've got Osimhen up top, you've got Gyökeres up top, you've even got a Delap up top, right? I better see you winning more games.
I think we have to be. Listen, you can talk about bringing Hoyson in, but there's still a problem. Hoyson doesn't solve this defensive issues. You're bringing in a younger defender to play with young defenders. It doesn't work. That's why I'm so adamant. You have to bring in. Oh, you people.
You're a Rottweiler, bro.
You have to bring in someone like a Gerhi who's got the experience. Who's 24, 25. You have to bring someone like that in as well. You cannot have Hoyson there because Hoyson's been developed in an environment like Bournemouth. Now if he comes to us, the exposure on him is going to be like 1,000,000 times more than Bournemouth will ever think of doing. And now you're going to put him in where he's got to what? He's got to learn off what? Or be protected by Colwell who needs protecting, Chalobah, Tosin, and a one-legged Fofana. I mean, what are we doing here? And Liam Delap's the same thing. You're going to bring Liam Delap in, who needs to still developing as well to lead the line. Already complained.
Let me jump in on this, right? Because again, the whole point of when I was talking about the likes of Chris Wood, somebody also brought up Garassi, and Don knows I was talking about Garassi as well. Again, the reason why I was talking about I talked about these guys, right, is because again they have experience, and the reason we have to be kind of lenient on Maresca is because again he's got kids. He's having to trust everything on kids, guys who got experience, guys who are coming into the club with barely 100 senior appearances for any club, whether that's in Brazil or in Europe or wherever it is. So that's why again it needs to be said. As much as we want to criticize the manager and criticize the players at times, and it is due, we got to criticize the fans because for the most part, our home support is shit. And the fans that were calling Maresca a wanker, they're all pricks. Again, you can boo if you want, and you can be critical if you want. That's all well and good. But why are you cussing your own manager? And we're in the middle of a race. Again, we all agree that this is where we are right now isn't good enough. But at least let it finish out, let it play out. Because calling him a wanker, knowing that we might have gone and lost that game, where's our heads going to be at the end of that? Where's his head going to be going into the next year?
As much as we are excited for the prospects of Santos and Esteban, those are still young players as well. I cannot. That's why when everyone goes like, oh, why aren't you more Maresca? I'll criticize his in-game management, no problem. But overall, like I keep saying this week, you've literally employed a learner driver to drive a Ferrari Formula One car. That's what you've done, right? And also without the key engineers like tweaking it, like at the pit stops and stuff like that. That's why you got Maresca out. Why should it be Maresca out if nothing changes around him? You know, if nothing changes, you might as well then just hire any faceless nobody to come in and do the job. That's why I'll criticize his in-game, but I won't be if I see the same type of recruitment as we've all been seeing for the past 2 or 3 years. I said bringing these people in without them having some type of experience, and I don't mean 32-year-olds or something like that, just game experience that have played like nearly 150, 200 games, that played like a Mark Gay, that played in the Premier League for 4 or 5 years, that will help them. I just don't.
I'll go even further than that. There's 3 questions I want answered. Have you played in the Champions League knockouts? have you been involved in the business end of a season, like where things are won? Have you been involved there? And how did you handle those situations? What were you like in those situations? Were you just like a passenger, or were you an actual experienced boss? That's what we need in this club right now. We don't need just like some another name to just fill spots. We need
Yes,
somebody that is at the high end of competition and knows how to navigate that.
So name them. Name them.
What he's saying is we need to go into phase 2/phase 3 of this ownership. We've been on this building this young foundation.
Right.
We need to now bring in the experienced winners, the people who know what it takes. Like you said, I think the sporting directors, they've done what they've done. It's time now to go into like a more mature direction. And hopefully,
or sack them.
That's what
sack them, because they've already done a bad enough job that they could be sacked and it would be fine.
They need to be. They need to be. They've done 3 years or 4 years, however long they've done. Let's move on. We've seen where we are. Let's take it to the next step.
CJG in the chat. Part of that, right? That's very good. That recruitment. I would still bring in more. If you're bringing a Bissek in, I still have reservations over a Bissek. In terms of having him develop and stuff like that. But like that is the type that Lookman would be a good recruitment. Do you know what I mean?
Chris Woods goal.
You bring in Delap. It cannot just be Delap.
It can't just be him. It has to be an Osimhen and a Delap.
Oh, now you can definitely blame Vicario for that shit. You can definitely blame him for that. What I've just seen.
Let me see this, bro. Elanga,
outrageous.
Elanga's about to
bro. Chris was just world class, but that's unsavable. That's unsavable.
Days, bro. Vicario, bro.
You're eating off of this, Chris.
That's unsavable, bro.
Wow.
That's unsavable. But listen. With the strategy again, the strategy has been appalling to me, because as much as people talk about, you want to get young players, blah blah blah, but I've seen Brighton's. I hate mentioning Arsenal, but I've seen other teams employ like a young player strategy in terms of bringing them in, but they don't just get young players. They also, again, in Brighton's case, they got Welbecks, they got Milners, they got experienced guys. So why are we not even trying to implement that in ourselves, other than getting tossed in for free? Like, other than that, you don't buy anybody experience.
What do you guys think of this? Let me bring this up here.
PSG has sort of done a. They've done it. They've done it the right way. Everyone, this PR that they put out about opportunities, the archetypal player for this type of project, they let go to PSG. Whether we would have signed him or not, we didn't even try for him. Kvaratskhelia is the opportunistic archetypal type of player that they keep talking about as an opportunity for £65 million, which he went for. Which, if he goes on to be the player we all think he might be, 65 million will be seen.
He will be that player. He's that cold.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. He's the type of player, an opportunity that I think about when I think about a project like this. But they'll feed us some like Gittins from fucking Dortmund that keeps being talked about. Do you know what I mean?
But quickly, before you come in, Don, I just want to quickly say again, I was talking about PSG from January, when again they were making those signings, but they were still doing mid in Europe. They had to play the playoff against I think they played the playoff against Brest. They only just about got into the top 24 when they beat City. And I was telling man, look at the players that they're bringing in. Look at the array of talent they got in, as well as the experience that they've already got in players like Marquinhos, Hakimi, etc., etc. And I was saying I'm envious of that, and people were disagreeing with me. Lord knows why, because look at what we have compared to what they have and what they've gone on to now show. I get it, maybe in January people didn't see the vision, but I saw it. I saw the quality that they have. And look what they've done since.
They haven't done anything. What do you mean?
What do you mean? They've won every game bar one. They knocked out Liverpool, knocked out Villa.
They haven't done anything yet. Like,
they're going to win their league unbeaten, bro. They're going to win their league unbeaten.
The Farmers League we're talking about now?
But when has anybody won that league unbeaten? Nobody's done that. They've done it now without superstars.
Man. Who cares?
You can't say they've done nothing when they've knocked out Liverpool, bro. They're dominating our league, bro.
And they're in the semi-final of the Champions League, bro.
But that's nothing, apparently. So it's nothing unless you win a trophy, apparently. But then the league doesn't count as a trophy.
Exactly. If you
it's not.
If you win the Champions League, then we can have something to talk about. Their model is being an efficient and effective model. If they only win their domestic league, which is bunk anyways, there's not much to talk about.
The domestic cup too, by the way. But listen, the point isn't just about winning trophies. Again, listen, I don't need to wait 3 years to then see, they won this, they won that, to then say it's a success or it's going to be good. No, I can see right now that it's going to be successful, and clearly it's working. Again, when a PSG going to batter teams like Liverpool and Villa like that back to back, they don't do that to most teams. They don't do that in previous Champions League runs. We're seeing what they're doing now, bro, and I'm seeing the quality that they're doing again. Look at what we've done. Look at what we brought. We brought in all these young players.
I'm pretty sure
and not okay, but who did we bring in on the level of a Kvaratskhelia? We didn't bring them in. Yeah. Again, we were linked with Dewey in the summer. We didn't go and do that. What did we go and do? We got Sancho on loan and freaking Pedro Neto, bro.
But as we tried to get Olise, we didn't get that over the line, bro.
Exactly.
We tried to get Olise. We tried to get
these foreign directors. Tried Osimhen too, but we failed the big ones because again we weren't ambitious enough. We didn't want to offer the money or whatever it was. And then when we failed on the big ones, the alternatives that we went for were shit. And in the case of like a Osimhen, okay, went from Osimhen to Omar Rudian, but then we didn't get Samu, and we ended up with Felix. And then promoted Nkunku to the backup 9 when we know he's not a number 9.
Yeah, but you're making it sound like there's not context there as well.
That was squad planning, bro. Oh my God. Repeat that again, Ad, so we can hear how bad it was. Look what we went from Osimhen to Samu to Yafi.
Oh, don't make me take off the shirt, bro. I might take off the shirt the way I'm thinking about it now, bro. And by the way, I still don't think we're going to get Champions League.
You guys are making it sound like
I kissed Chelsea badge the other day and it's like ass. So I don't kiss the badge.
Like Samuel did not want to join the club.
But Couch, the reason we didn't get them is because we didn't want to go to that level to actually get them. That's I didn't want to get a 400 million. We didn't want to take it there, bro. We didn't want to take it to that level to get the point. And that's what you got to take it there to get those type of players. That's just what
we went to Villa. We went to Villa instead of buying Duran, we bought fucking Amari Kellerman.
Yeah, like it's a joke thing, dog. Like,
whether it was Duran, Gyökeres, these guys wouldn't have been 300k at the time. They wouldn't have been 300k at the time. Even at least at 250, is that really that bad? Was at least at 250 really that bad?
Bro, hell no.
That's what I'm saying.
These guys are good at identifying the talent, but getting it over the line is where they're not good at.
Exactly.
Because everybody they identify, we all got to look back and go, holy shit, they're pretty good strikers. From Duran to Samu, all those strikers. They're all good strikers, but guess what? They didn't get it over the line.
By the way, Jim, Duran's another one that I was saying Chelsea should buy when people would say, what the fuck has this guy done?
Yeah, but there was a few of them. That came through. Yeah. Everyone they identified looked good, but the thing they did not do was have the conviction to say, okay, this is our guy. This is our
Jimmy,
guy. I'm glad that you said that. They didn't really fumble Olise. They had a hard line. Yep. Olise had a hard line. Nobody went over their line.
I'll be real, Jim. Yeah, I honestly think if we had Champions League football, I think he picks us over Bayern Munich, bro. I think he picks us over Bayern Munich. I agree with
that. But with the no Champions League, you gotta then move your line a little bit to bring them in.
Yeah.
You gotta move that money line. Everybody was screaming it at the moment.
Knows that.
And then when they didn't do it, I backed back and I said, you know what? I can't cuss it yet because I don't know what it's gonna look like. I can't cuss it yet. I'll give it time. Well, it's reached January it reached to that time to where they had a chance to fix it. That's the beauty of European football. You have a chance, you get a chance to fix and make up for one or two of your makeup. You can't make up for all of them, but one or two of them you can fix. We fixed none. And that's the problem. That's why we kept falling.
Let me read this report.
I blame players, I blame the manager, but most of all, I blame the damn sporting directors because they didn't do their job that they needed to do at the halfway point to help this team.
Okay, bro, listen, I'm glad that you brought up.
And they should be fired. I
gotta run, guys. I gotta run.
Hold on. In a bit, Couch. In a bit, my bro.
So my thing is this: when it comes to whether or not this manager should stay, I want the sporting directors fired. So with me wanting the sporting directors fired,
Jim, let me read this first before you land your point, because I think what you're saying is actually gonna coincide with this. Yeah, but people, first of all, 166 people in the house, solid numbers. We haven't even got 100 likes, bro. Yeah, so you don't make sure that you're smashing up the likes, like I keep saying. Yeah, but Simon Phillips put this out on his, I think on his website the other day. He said Chelsea are prepared to bring in over 30s if they are leaders and top players, and they are willing to pay big wages. Wanted VVD, right? And Ornstein pretty much confirmed it here. He said there was interest from Chelsea in signing VVD from if he became available. Ultimately, he had only eyes for Liverpool, and that shows there is no rule on only signing under 23 players at the Bridge. Yes, their recruitment has been young. They've got the youngest average squad in the league this season. I think they're looking for impact players. whether that be younger or indeed older, and that's where somebody of VVD's caliber would fit in. It's not about them being older and more experienced. It's just about their quality, right? And that's what I keep talking about, AJ, bro, and Jimmy.
Sounds good.
Quality, bro. Yeah. I'm gonna hold them to. I'm gonna listen. This is their words. I'm gonna hold you lot accountable in the summer, Jim.
Wait, what is it though?
It sounds good. It sounds really good, bro. This is what the fans been asking for. A lot of the fans. This is what the team needs. So if they don't do it, then what? Then what?
But how do we know this is legit though? Because I've heard this kind of thing for many summers, but like even last summer, I heard it's gonna change a bit. We're gonna go for certain players. I mean, we're targeted with some players, but we didn't get it over the line.
No, but we got all the players. To be fair though, Ads.
It's kind of been the opposite. They've kind of been saying that they're not gonna sign the older guys, and we didn't.
No, we did though.
That was always
we signed Tosin. Hold on. If we signed Tosin, hold on. Go.
If we went for Van Dijk, if we went for Van Dijk, what's the most important part of that deal for Van Dijk?
The contract, how many years?
Nope, no transfer fee. It's a free transfer.
Oh no, you said for Van Dijk.
Same with Tosin, right? Tosin was over the so-called age limit. We only got him because he's free transfer.
Oh yeah, and he would have been.
No way we're buying. There's no way we're buying Tosin for his age. So I don't. You know what?
Andrew's right. Andrew's right.
Words are useless. What your words are useless to me. Your actions speak louder, right?
Yep.
The actions speak. Do you know what spoke to me about the way when everyone says they don't listen and stuff like that, they don't care. The way they treated this protest, fine. 25 years later, they signed a Brazilian 17-year-old we can't get to 2026, and then signed 2 kids from Portugal, right? That's what they're going to do. Anyone that's over a certain age bracket, I bet, will only be like a free transfer, like Virgil van Dijk. That's the only reason. This whole quality thing, oh yeah, we're linked to Virgil van Dijk. It's because it's free transfer. It's because it was a free transfer. If Van Dijk had 1 year left, there's no way we'd go after Van Dijk. No chance we'd go after Van Dijk. I don't believe them for a second. Why would they suddenly go for more experienced players now and change again from habit from 2.5 years?
Maybe they're finally realizing the mistakes that,
AJ, touch on that.
If you're not realizing by now, bro, then you're incompetent.
Yeah,
AJ, they had the protest. Don't tell me they don't know what's happening on social media. They will be being told,
they didn't care about that wasteland protest.
We signed a Brazilian left back,
a
Portuguese midfielder, and a Portuguese winger, all 20 or under. They don't want to sign experienced players. They don't want to.
But that was all. They wasn't going to stop that because Johnny Minerals and CB was.
No. I'm just saying. No, I'm saying Jimmy. I'm saying their actions. This is all like this is.
We said they don't got enough pull.
Do you remember? I don't know how.
They don't got the clout,
any of you older guys remember? Do you remember Arsene Wenger used to come out and say, "Oh, Arsenal could have signed this player. Arsenal could have signed that player. There's a whole 11 of players he could have signed. Oh, we could have signed Ibrahimovic." That's what we're becoming. Oh, we could have signed this guy. We could have signed that guy. Oh, horse shit. Do it first. Don't tell me about it. All right. That's why this summer.
I agree.
Don't believe anything until you see it on the club website. Don't believe any rumor. Don't believe Ornstein. Don't believe Fabrizio.
I agree with that.
Don't believe anything like that. Okay. These guys. You're right, AJ. These guys need to realize they've made mistakes. I don't think they do realize they're making mistakes.
I can't support it any much further if they don't realize, bro. Because
I'm done.
And that's why I'm saying for me, this summer is fucking make or break. Yeah, like I was even saying the other day, I honestly struggle to like see Egbali sitting there at the bridge last week against Ipswich, seeing Cole defending the way he was, seeing Chalobah defending the way he was. Seeing Jackson missing the way he was, seeing all these problems, and man's just sitting there saying, "Yeah, I'm not gonna do anything about this." Right? I'm really struggling to understand how in a world where you're gonna invest all this money but still have mold in the yard. It's like buying bare apartments right now in central London, yeah, and having a mold problem, right? It looks all nice from the outside. You spent 1.5 billion on all these flats, but people are going in there, and there's a mold problem. Yeah, we've got moldy centre backs. Hold on, Andrew. Yeah, we've got moldy centre backs, and we've got a moldy striker. Yeah, and we've got a moldy left side of the attack. We need to clean that mold, bro.
That's a good ass way to put this.
Two things, right? Two things.
We need to clean the mold.
Yo.
So 2 things in January. They treated us like Strasbourg and Strasbourg like Chelsea. They backed Strasbourg in the January transfer window and got them signings to help them push on for European place. Now, what will if we do get a Champions League place? Our wages go up. Our players' wages go up, right?
Yeah.
So there's now no excuse for them not offering Champions League style wages, right? There's no excuse, right? To go like if I'll pick Osman out, but to go to someone like Osman and he wants 200k, 220k, we have players on that. If we get a Champions, what you have to work out is whether it goes down if we get out of the Champions League and stuff like that. But there's no excuse now to not offer those wages. That'll be the true test. That'll be the true thing of what they're going to do. There's no point going to these type of players when you have other players on 200k plus and offering them 150 on that. Now, whether you work out a deal where it goes down to that, if we drop out of the Champions League, that's up to you. But there's no point in doing that. You don't have no excuses, because usually I always sit on the side note. I often think clubs spend to get into the Champions League, but never really spend after they get into the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? We're trying to do it the other way. We're trying to not spend it on experience or quality, but trying to get there on a shoestring budget, so to speak. It's just it's just utter madness. But I swear right now, if we do get in the Champions League and the recruitment is Gittins, Delap, and Huijsen, I'm going to be effing pissed. I swear to God, and those are the only signs for a Champions League qualification, then you can get stuffed. I tell you right now, we'll be battling for a playoff place in the Champions. We'll be like 23rd, 24th. We'll be in that competition.
I'm telling you, Andrew. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Yeah, I'm trying to be as fair as possible. At the beginning, I saw what Bowley and that were trying to do at the beginning. They tried to bring all this experience. They tried to bring the big names. They went away from that because the likes of Sterling didn't work. The likes of Koulibaly didn't work, right? All these signings we're making didn't work. They've gone Aubameyang didn't work, right? They've gone the other way, but they've gone a little bit too extreme, yeah? So this is where I'm sitting now, and I'm like, bro, what you do this summer is going to dictate what Don you see next season, yeah? Because I'm telling you, bro, people think I'm just this positive guy. Before Roman got sanctioned, bro, I was basically the Chelsea league gunner, yeah? I used to hate our recruitment. I used to hate the squad building. I used to hate that team that we had, yeah? I used to hate everything about that squad, bro. And I saw the problems from a mile away. I used to tell people all the time, bro, without Hazard, we're shit. Without Eden Hazard, we are shit, yeah? And it's embarrassing that fucking Kante and Hazard didn't win more trophies at Chelsea, bro. Yeah, they should have won a lot more, yeah? Our recruitment was shocking in the end, and that's why they didn't win more, yeah? So I'm telling you, bro, next summer is it's going to be very, very key. Because I call it as I see it. I'm not scared to criticize the club. I'm not scared to criticize the players. I'm not scared to criticize the manager. I just say it as it is, and I try to be as balanced as possible, bro. You feel me? But listen, solid show, man. Them anyway, solid show. Still got a lot of people in here, like I said. Make sure that you lot subscribing to the channel. AJ, what have you got coming up, man? Let the people know, bro. Love for your time.
Yo, man, I'm just here supporting the thing. You know, next show I'll be here. I might put up something on TikTok, but other than that, just hopefully we win these games. I'm tired of us not being in Champions League. I want to see some world-class players at the club. I just want to see something different. I'm tired of the past 3 years now. It's a little bit, annoying. So
facts, bro. How about you, man? Any progress on the YouTube? I've let the people know, man. What have you got? What going on right now?
Well, I might have to take a word from AJ. I think I'm just a professional guest, bro. So we'll just keep it like that. But listen, again, similar to AJ, we just need to see this team be successful again, bro. Again, that Fulham win was a nice moment, but it was just a moment. It wasn't really a good performance, and it doesn't give me the confidence to think that we're going to now steamroll teams like we were earlier in the season. So a lot needs to change before I think we're going to finish Champions League. Because right now I probably have us just missing out. But when you look at the quality on paper that we should be producing, it is better than a Forest. We should be overtaking Forest in this race. I mean, last day it's going to probably come down to that 6-pointer. We got to be beating them, man. I don't care home or away. We got to be beating them. So hopefully it's Champions League, and then there's no excuses about recruitment and this about wages and all that nonsense. We're Chelsea. We're a big club, biggest in Europe. Biggest in London. Only team in London with a European trophy. We know that's not changing this season, no matter what's happening. We know it's not changing, so we got to keep the standards high, man.
We need to, bro. Jim, how about you, bro? You got anything coming up?
West Ham got a European trophy. Why are we doing this?
We're talking about the Sia, bro. The one with the big ears, bro. We don't talk about them little trophies.
The big one. You know what I mean?
Well, we about to win that trophy. I'm trying to be shameless here.
We need it.
Only one with the big ears, and I ain't changing, man. I ain't changing.
100%. How about you, Jimmy? Got anything coming up, man?
No, yo, watch along season's been canceled, bro. I ain't gonna watch along in like 18, like bad games, bro. I'm done. This team too crap for me to be on fucking screen watching this shit. I've turned professional guest. I've turned professional guest until next season. You know what I mean? Catch me here, catch me on Lewis channel. Never a foul. I'm everywhere, man. Just look, keep your eyes.
Big up, man. Andrew, how about you, bro? You got anything coming up, bro?
Not to my knowledge. I am the original professional guest. The OG analyst. So no, I unless something breaks or anything like that, I might be on. There's Casually FC probably do a stream, but just probably reacting to the Everton game at the weekend. I don't really like previews.
We're going Saturday or Sunday this week.
Saturday lunchtime kickoff.
Saturday lunch. Fuck, man.
Yeah, 12:30. Yeah.
I'm gonna be at the bridge for that one. I'll see if I ever want to go to the game, bro. I was there the other day, but we'll see in it. We'll see. But listen, people, solid show, man. Big up the mods. Big up the mods every time for asking people to like up the show and whatnot. Big up everyone in the chat as well. Like I keep saying, we push on people in a bit, man. Love.